Guilt is a big issue for me. I really want to learn how to use Buddhism to get rid of my messed up personality to find my true self. What is the best way to go about it?
Now, you raised something really important here. Quite early on, Tibetan Buddhist teachers started giving teachings in the West. And the new Dharma students would bring up this big concern for them, that they felt this really heavy guilt and deep in their bones, and what could they do about it? So the teachers would say something like, oh dear, well, what did you do? What are you guilty of? And then the students would reply, no, it's not guilty about a crime or a particular mistake or a particular problem. It's just this feeling of guilt. The teachers would say, oh, regret is regret. Well, a lot of things over time you feel regret. Well, but that's good. That's great actually, because in Buddhism, regret is good. Then you don't do any bad karma in the future and only commit to good karma, and then you feel happy. The students again would say, no, it's not that either. It's not even that. The teachers again would say, oh, it's shame. Well, if it's not about something you did in the past, then you feel shame about doing any bad karma in the future, right? Well, that's good too, because then you feel peaceful in the mind. Again, the students would say, no, it's not shame. It's not regret. It's not remorse. Not shame or conscience or any of that. It's just this feeling of guilt deep down, that something is just not right about me. So the teachers were a bit stuck with this at first, because when they looked for what it would be in Tibetan or Sanskrit or any other terminology, they couldn't find it. Really, they couldn't find it, because there is no guilt as such in Buddhist countries. Now, the reason, what I think the reason for this big disparity is that, in Buddha Dharma, we're not coming from an idea that you as a person are born bad, or born with original sin or whatever, and the world was created perfect. No, in fact, in the Buddha Dharma, it's actually the other way around. The nature of the world is that it's never ultimate fulfillment. I mean, at the very least, we need to face the body getting sick, getting old, dying, and even if we're lucky enough to enjoy comforts, happy times, and so on, none of it is going to last forever. However, what's also important, impermanent, are the afflictive emotions, the range of unpleasant mental tones that literally defile the mind, but are not part of the mind's true nature. They're just like dark clouds that mask the sun underneath. The sun isn't going anywhere. See, underneath all that junk, underneath all that stuff, no matter how often, no matter how strongly it rises to the surface, is pure clarity and awareness. The nature of the mind is pure. Now, even if that sounds cool, and yeah, it really resonates for me as a healthy way for or relating to life, we can still end up beating ourselves up. Because if we take it in as ideal that we're not able to live up to, we can still develop a kind of a guilt. Now, sure, it might not be so deep-seated for those with no previous conditioning. I mean, it might be just a bit of a regret or impatience. But if we have already been, conditioned into the habit of fostering guilt, then yes, we can feel not good enough. What's wrong with me? All those lovely, peaceful yogins in blissful enlightenment, and I can even concentrate on the breathing without, wandering off in, unfulfilled fantasies and, festering resentment or, totally useless stuff. Where on earth does that come from? Now, the Buddha wasn't at all interested in abstract theories, in theories separate from actual practice. No, as a result, whenever we hear about Buddha nature, emptiness, interdependence, and so on and so forth, it's for us to actually contemplate, meditate, to bring the direct individual realization. And we can't expect the Buddha to float down on a magic lotus or one of the great lamas to teleport in our living room to do that for us. We gotta do that ourselves. We gotta practice it. And if we do that, we see relevance and we taste the results of liberation. Our heart's true nature is not so much about an idea that we gotta believe in or hope that we can do sometime in the distant future. No, the time is now. Now is the time to start implementing the Dharma, to practice the path, to wash away all the mind's obscurations for good. There are two kinds of obscurations. First is the afflictive obscurations of, adventitious negative states that afflict us. The rough waves that disturb the ocean of mind. The second is the cognitive obscurations of misknowing reality that then act as a root giving rise to the afflictions and all our suffering. Now, even the most subtle latency of the two obscurations can also be purified through the cultivation of wisdom and compassion, which is the essence of the Mahayana path. So yeah, although there are many different negative states of the mind that arises and passes, but there's only one Buddha nature. Mine isn't better than yours. Yours isn't better than mine. We're all the same. We all have immense value. We all have potential. Human beings, conscious human beings possess primordial purity. In other words, you're already awesome, and don't you forget that. So we don't need to try to get rid of our own personality in favor of a new one that we fantasize will make a more pure personality or a more popular personality or fascinating personality. Just the word personality is just an idea made by many different components that arises and ceases in the mind. In this moment, right now, the only difference between you and the completely perfect Buddha is just a veil. It's just a veil that has to be removed. So this must, bolster our confidence, but not in an arrogant way. In the sense of bringing the true meaning of our lives So we do whatever we can in this moment, whatever it takes to, bring, to remove those defilements and awaken love, awaken understanding of our true nature. So the more, as we do this, the more and more we practice, the more and more we'll notice changes. Very tangible, positive changes. And not just guilt, but all the chronic nebulous emotive tones that haunt the system or resurfaces time to time, again and again. No matter what it is, all fall into the category of the afflictions. All of them. So, but not in the true nature of our minds. So the more we practice, we can be confident and so relieved in the development of beautiful, meaningful states like empathy and insights, that won't make a problem about the difficult bits, because we will understand them. We will understand them and let them go. And eventually there will be no room for guilt. There will be no room for fear, confusion, or any of that stress in our life. I think this is really important because I'm still young. And when I talk to people in my peer group, whether in America or Europe or Asia, whether girls or boys, this comes up again and again. Lack of self-confidence, low self-esteem, even self-hatred. Really, it actually breaks my heart. When someone has an accident, we rush towards the patient's bedside to do whatever we can to support their healing of the body. Similarly, we really need to support each other and help each other with just much instant concern and commitment for emotional healing. And we need to listen fully, without judging. Promote confidence. In Buddhist communities and families, sometimes there's a danger of putting our focus on the so-called spiritual goal at the expense of immediate personal development and social development. But bringing Buddhism into the 21st century means developing a holistic approach so that we can benefit inner and outer issues of our time.